Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome to the Gav Goes In podcast. So, Barcelona, they're 1-11. This season, that I'm gonna run through the team of what I think should be their lineup. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. What I'm gonna do, let me just share my screen. I'm gonna try and do the lineup builder. Give me 1 minute. Try and put it on there. So yeah, just going to share my screen now. So yeah. So as you can see, 4-3-3 or 4-3-2-1 formation. So for me, Barcelona, I like Barcelona playing with a 4-3-3. It allows to have either a deep line defensive midfielder, and then two attacking playmakers or box-to-box midfielders. I think the 4-3-2-1 would work well for Barca, but Barca don't really play with 4-3-2-1. Obviously, if you look down the years of when they had Sergio Busquets, obviously he was a DM, and they don't necessarily play with a number 10. Obviously, there's been talk about Dani Olmo coming in, but obviously Dani Olmo can fit in as one of the other central midfield players, and he can play as a number 10 as well. For me, I'm going to go with a 4-3-3 formation. And starting off in goal for me, quite a simple one. So possibly one of the best ball-playing goalkeepers in the game, and that's Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Why isn't it working? What's wrong with this? Can't click onto it. It's not working. Why is it working? Okay, so Marc-Andre ter Stegen for me in goal. As I said, one of the best ball-playing defenders, goalkeepers in the game right now. German international. Obviously, been very unlucky to have Manuel Neuer, who's been ever present for the national team, ahead of him. But again, I think he could possibly be Barcelona's captain this season as well. But yeah, I think he's a top goalkeeper, and he's someone that they'll be heavily reliant on for his leadership skills and obviously his experience. And as I said, with the ball at his feet, there isn't too many goalkeepers out there with that quality. For me, right back, see, it's a tough one for me because you've got between Jules Koundé and you've got João Cancelo. For me, Cancelo, I think he's gone back to Man City now. Whether Barca can agree a deal with him if they want him to come back, I think he'll be a good addition to their squad, as he can play both right and left back. And I would start him right back, but I think because he's not, I'm not sure if he's there at the moment. I'm going to go with Jules Koundé to start. But if Cancelo does come back, then for me, it's a toss-up between Cancelo and Jules Koundé for the right back spot. For me, I like right-footed right backs, left-footed left backs. Cancelo can play left back, but I think on the other side, I'm gonna have Alejandro Balde. Obviously, missed a big chunk of the season through injury. Obviously, for sure would have been Spain's starting left back as well had he have been fit. Obviously, wears the number 3 shirt for Barcelona now. Has come through the youth, and for me, he's a top player in the making. So that quartet right there of Ter Stegen in goal, Jules Koundé right back, and Alejandro Balde left back looks solid for me at the moment. And then the centre backs, for me, definitely, and I'll make him the captain. And I think he's one of the best defenders in the world, and that's Ronald Arroyo, Uruguayan centre back. Can also play right back as well, but I think primarily you'd have to see him as a centre back. So for me, I'd have Ronald Arroyo, right side centre back, and next to him, I think has to be young Pau Kabasi, who's come through the youth again. I know Andreas Christensen's there. They got Mikhail Faye as well, I think, who's coming through. I think he's a Cameroonian international. Oh, sorry, Senegalese international. Eric Garcia, I believe, might be there as well. So there isn't too many options of real quality, I would say. But I think Pau Kabasi could be next in line, just like what Lamine Yamal and Balde have done coming through the youth. So I'm going to play Pau Kabasi as a left side centre back. And as you can see already, that defense for me looks formidable to be challenging Real Madrid for next season. Guys, if you've got any comments to make, put your comments in and tell me if there's any other players that you feel should be making this lineup. So I've gone Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, Jules Koundé at right back, Ronald Arroyo and Pau Kabasi as the 2 centre backs, and then Alejandro Balde as a left back. So you've got a good mix there of youth and experience in that back line. And I think for sure, if Barca can put that back line out, I think that back line will take some stopping. And again, you've got João Cancelo, who could come into that if he does go back to the club. And then you've got the backups as well at centre back, which could play pivotal for the squad. So then we go into midfield. Now, this is where it gets very tricky for me because the 3 in midfield. So you'd have someone for me just playing slightly deeper, like the Busquets role, I would say. And then you'd have 2 ahead of that can be more attacking. So for me, in the centre, I'm going to have Frankie de Jong. You know, for me, there's no one like Sergio Busquets. I think the closest player to Sergio Busquets in world football right now is Rodri, but Rodri is not as good as Busquets in the sense of, for me, Rodri is more of a powerhouse than what Busquets was. But Busquets with the ball at his feet, you know, he's the way he controls games is some of the best I've ever seen. You know, he's a top player, Busquets. But I think Frankie de Jong can play a similar role, you know, in terms of progressing the ball, picking the ball up from the defense, you know, holding his position, and then just orchestrating play from midfield. So for me, for sure, he'll definitely play as the deep line defensive midfielder. And then either side, so on the left, I'm going to go for one of my favorite players. Hopefully, he can stay fit and get back from injury. And that's Pedri. For me, closest player, and obviously, I think his idol is Iniesta. But for me, closest player to Iniesta, the way he can dribble, the way he can break the lines with his dribble, his composure on the ball as well, his passing is top level. And I think someone like Pedri, again, there's question marks over his fitness record. But I think if he can stay fit, and that's a big if, I think you're looking at easily one of the best midfielders in the game. I like the way he plays. He's got a low center of gravity as well. His decision making is, for me, his decision making is always there. And I think he's a top player, man, Pedri, and for sure he starts alongside Frankie de Jong in that midfield. The right side for me is a tricky one because it's between three players really. So you've got Gavi, obviously, who's been out with a long-term injury, and obviously he's come through La Masia as well, so they're going to want to try and push him. So they got three La Masia players in the lineup in Kabasi, Balde, and Pedri. So you've got either Gavi, you've got Ilkay Gundogan, again, who's a top player. Obviously, he's getting on a bit. Or you've got Dani Olmo, who, again, came through La Masia, and they could be trying to get back as well. There's been bids that have been rejected so far. For me, it's a tough one. So Gavi, Gundogan, or Dani Olmo. So you would think if Dani Olmo does get signed, they could play. It could be a Dani Olmo and Pedri, because Pedri does get injuries. So Dani Olmo could be used as like a Pedri replacement for the time being, or he could play with him. And you got Gundogan with the experience and the quality, and then you've got young Gavi as well. Tough one. I'm gonna go with. Oh, I hate this one because for me, Gundogan has to start. He has to start for me because he's a top player. But again, if you're bringing in Dani Olmo, the Euros he had, I know Dani Olmo plays more as a 10, but he can play more position. He can play out wide, and he can play as a centre midfielder as well. Chat, help me out with this one. Who we going for? Dani Olmo, Gavi, or Pedri? Tough one. You know what? I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Olmo. I'll go with Olmo. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dani Olmo. So if Barca can get Dani Olmo over the line, then that midfield quartet there of Frankie de Jong, Dani Olmo, and Pedri is very good. Equally, you can have Gavi or Ilkay Gundogan there as well. And even if them two don't start, then what are bench options they are. And then again, with Pedri. So Pedri's injury prone. So you could have Dani Olmo starting in place of Pedri and then have Gavi or Gundogan starting as well. So they've got options. So yeah. So then moving forward, obviously central striker. It's quite an easy one. Robert Lewandowski, one of the best strikers of his generation over the last 10 years, you would say, easily. Obviously, he's getting on a bit now. But obviously Lewandowski brings that leadership quality. He brings his general quality. Obviously, he's a goal scorer. I think if you can get a team around Lewandowski, where Lewandowski is just the finisher, obviously as he's getting on a bit now, I think that will work well. And I think that Lewandowski will thrive from that as well. But yeah, his goal record speaks for itself, and I think I think Barca are gonna have their work cut out to try and get someone to replace him. I know they brought in Vitor Roque, but it looks like they don't really fancy Vitor Roque too much. But for me, I think there's been links to Julian Alvarez as well. But for me, Lewandowski obviously will be the main striker for the season. But they need to bring in someone that is going to be like an understudy if it isn't going to be Vitor Roque, and then rest Lewandowski throughout the season. But yeah, obviously Lewandowski is Lewandowski, and yeah, he's gonna show. I think in the twilight of his career now that he's still got goals to offer. You know, I do still think he's a top player, but he's someone that he does need to be replaced eventually, and it just remains to be seen who they're going to bring in. There was Mark Gu, who's obviously gone to Chelsea, who I like the look of. But yeah, Barca are going to have a tough task to kind of replace Lewandowski, and it's going to be interesting to see who they actually go for. You know, could be some surprise names that they actually get through the door. You know, on the right, no surprises for me. A player that is going to dominate. That is going to dominate world football if he can stay injury clear. You know, he's been given his number 19 shirt now, same as what Messi had, and you'd fully expect him to don the number 10 shirt if his path is the path it's meant to go on. And that's young Lamine Yamal. I think head and shoulders for his age, is one of the best players in the world. You know, I think already at his young age, he's one of the best wide players out there. You know, he will grow, he will get stronger. But his decision making, his general quality on the ball is top level already at the age of 17. And obviously, as you can see from the Euros, he showed why there is hype around him. You know, the main thing I like about Lamine Yamal is that he's a thinking man's footballer. You know, he's not someone that just gets the ball and just thinks, right, I'm going to just run with it. He's someone that gets the ball and he's probing. He's always looking for opportunities to either play the ball to someone, to get a shot off, or to just generally create. And players like this, they have longevity in the game. Gunali, Jude. Oh God. Listen, Jude Bellingham. I'm sorry, Lee, man, but Bellingham ain't the guy, man. And you're gonna find out very soon that especially this season, his role's gonna change. You're gonna see him be exposed as what was happened in the Euros. But yeah, man, that's safe for coming on, safe for watching. But yeah, this is our Barcelona 1-11. Talking about a certain Lamine Yamal, and there's no way that Jude is going to be on Yamal's level if Yamal can stay fit. So yeah, for me, Lamine Yamal, man, he's going to be already. We can tell he's a generational talent, and I think he's someone that at least he'll be keeping football alive, and that's all we can ask for, really. So yeah, and then on the left, for me, I like Ansu Fati. I know Ansu Fati's had a bit of a setback this season. I think I found that he was injured quite recently, but for me, Ansu Fati is. I think if Ansu Fati can get over his injuries, I can see him. You know, I can see him being talked about as one of the best wide players in the game. You know, I think he was doing what Yamal was doing before Yamal was Yamal, basically. So obviously injuries have killed him. He went on loan to Brighton, didn't really work out there, but he's someone that I believe still has the quality to have a good career. Again, it's the injuries that have killed him. But I think the fact that the club have given him back his number 10 shirt, shows the faith that the club have in him. And I think that he's someone that, again, if he can get some rhythm to his game and he can get over his injuries, and let's hope that the injury that he's got at the moment is only a small one, for sure he can be Barcelona's starting left winger. But invariably, if they do get Nico Williams, obviously from his showing from the Euros, then Nico Williams is going to have a shout in it as well. Do I think Nico Williams is better than Ansu Fati? I think I'd still take Ansu Fati, but obviously it's got to be said at this moment in time that Nico Williams is actually ahead of Ansu Fati, and that's just because of the injury record. So I think it's only fair at the moment. No, you know what? In actual fact, I'm going to put Ansu Fati in there. I'm putting Ansu Fati in there. I know if Nico Williams does come in, he's more likely to start. But for me, Ansu Fati with his number 10 shirt, we're going to change that as well. For me, Ansu Fati, I will start him with Yamal and Lewandowski as a striker. And looking at that quartet, that team there, easily for me, that can challenge Real Madrid. If I go player for player, you've got ter Stegen and Thibaut Courtois. I think there's nothing in it, you know. Dani Carvajal and Jules Koundé. You probably say Dani Carvajal is just ahead. And then you've got Ronald Arroyo and Antonio Rudiger. Again, nothing in it. Pau Kabasi and Eder Militao. I think Kabasi obviously still young, still got time on his side. Eder Militao has had his injury issues as well. But Pau Kabasi could become a very good centre back, so he's got time. And you've got Alejandro Balde and Ferland Mendy. I know they've been linked to Alphonso Davies, but Balde and Mendy, again, Balde just like Kabasi, still young, but Balde can for sure become one of the best left backs in the game. Again, staying clear of injury. And then you've got the midfield quartet of Pedri, Frankie de Jong, and Dani Olmo to go up against Aurelien Tchouameni, Eduardo Camavinga, and Federico Valverde. Again, you know, there's not much in it really. It's quite even. And then you go for the front three of obviously Kylian Mbappe now, Vinicius Junior, and Rodrigo. And you'd probably say Real Madrid just edge it ahead of Lamine Yamal, Robert Lewandowski, and Ansu Fati. Obviously, as I said before, Ansu Fati is injury prone. Lewandowski is getting on a bit, and Lamine Yamal's a star. So you'd say Real Madrid's quartet at the moment, in terms of the striking department, is just ahead. You know, but obviously there's obviously Nico Williams that could easily come in and replace Ansu Fati. You've also, I want everyone to watch out for a midfielder as well. He could be getting game time this season for Barcelona due to their injuries, and that's Noah Darvic. I believe Noah Darvic is the next one that's going to come through and show what he's got, which is why I believe Dani Olmo obviously has come through La Masia, and I can see why they want him back. But I will just promote Noah Darvic and give him a chance, because Noah Darvic can play as a 10. He can play as a central midfielder as well. He can even play on the flanks if need be. And I think he's someone that needs to be looked out for this season. Whether he gets enough game time remains to be seen. Also, you got Gavi as well, as I mentioned, and Ilkay Gundogan. And obviously with Real Madrid, you obviously got Bellingham, you got Arda Güler, Brahim Diaz, Modric is still there. Obviously, Cruz is now retired. But both teams have a quartet of midfielders that you would expect them to do well. But yeah, for me, it's just the striking department really. That but I think if Lewandowski can get legs around him, then and he can be like the fox in the box, then yeah, you're going to see a better Lewandowski. So, but yeah, guys, that's my lineup. So we run through it again. Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal. Right back to start, Jules Koundé. That could easily be João Cancelo. Ronald Arroyo, Pau Kabasi as 2 centre backs, Alejandro Balde at left back, and then you've got the midfield quartet of Frankie De Jong playing as a deep lying pivot, Dani Olmo, and then Pedri, providing he stays fit, and the front three of Robert Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, and Ansu Fati, which will probably be Nico Williams if he comes in. We've also got Ferran Torres, but I don't believe Ferran Torres is better than Ansu Fati or Nico Williams. Rafinha is still there as well, but for me, Yamal has that spot locked down. And obviously, you got Vitor Roque as well, who covers for Lewandowski. But again, he could be moved on as well. So, yeah, that's a formidable team for me that can challenge Barcelona, challenge Real Madrid. If you guys think that there's other players that should be included, or if they have no chance against Real Madrid's team, then yeah, smash that in the comments. So yeah, for me, Lamine Yamal, just talking about Lamine Yamal, someone that I believe is going to dominate the Ballon d'Or for years to come. You know, I don't see a player right now in world football that I believe is going to be battling with him, if I'm honest. You know, he's got so much quality on the ball. And the fact that he's 17, he can only get better, you know. And as I said, he's at the right club for his development, you know. As we can see with Messi, Barcelona do look after their talents coming through La Masia. And as you can see from the lineup, I've got Pau Kabasi, Alejandro Balde, Pedri, Dani Olmo, Lamine Yamal, and Ansu Fati, who have all come through La Masia. So that's 6 players coming through La Masia, which shows you that they pride themselves on producing their own talent. But for me, yeah, Lamine Yamal's different. Like, you know, he's someone that, as I said, the quality in terms of his general play is of a high level. And I think in an era now of footballers where, you know, a lot of footballers that are getting hyped in right now are players that are just have a lot of pace, you know. To think that Vinicius Junior, for me, who should win Ballon d'Or, because I think the year he's had, he's club-wise, he's probably been the most decisive player in world football. But to think that Vinicius Junior, as good as a player that he is the front runner for me as a Ballon d'Or contender, shows you how far football's dropped off. Because if you look at his compatriots that played in the same position, i.e. Ronaldinho and Neymar, Vinny, as good as he is nowhere near that level. And this is the thing that people need to realize, that football has dropped off massively, you know. To think that we've got someone like Jude Bellingham that is in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or is a shame to football, you know. And I will just implore more people to be aware of these things, because, you know, obviously everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But as Gunnar said, I know he loves Jude, but I can't have no one tell me that this Jude Bellingham is a top player. Players like, as you can see in the screen, Lamine Yamal is players that we should be hailing, you know. And as I said, I think Lamine Yamal, he's going to be dominating for me for years to come. I think for his age bracket, the only player I would possibly say that has a style of play that is not reminiscent, but can challenge him from the same sort of age group, I would say. And that's probably Jamal Musiala. I can't really see too many other players of that age group that's gonna be of that level. See, I'm a massive fan of Florian Wirtz, but Florian Wirtz is more of a passer, in my opinion. He can dribble, but I think Lamine Yamal and Musiala are more about the dribbling. But Florian Wirtz again is of the same age bracket, and he could be in the reckoning. Again, Pedri. I think Pedri might be. Well, I think Pedri's 21. For me, he could be that as well. Ansu Fati, if he can get back to the level, or to the promise that Barcelona have had in him, You know, if I look in the Premiership, players of that are like 20 years of age. Kobe Minu, obviously he's 19. Who else is there? So you got Kobe Minu. You've got I had a look at that Oscar Bob, but Oscar Bob hasn't played enough, you know. So, but I think Oscar Bob has that kind of quality. Obviously, Phil Foden's like 24 now. So players of that same age bracket. Again, there isn't too many. If I've missed out any names, guys, as I say, feel free to throw that into the comments, either after the stream or in the comments now. But yeah, as I said, that's my team for Barcelona this season to dethrone Real Madrid. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm gonna run through Real Madrid's team as well. Obviously, there's gonna be a few upset people, especially Gunali, because a certain someone won't make my lineup, and I'm gonna tell you why. So yeah, be sure to follow that tomorrow, guys. I'll be streaming that at we're gonna stream that at 1 o'clock. So be sure to follow me at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and we're gonna run through Real Madrid's team, and then we're gonna do a comparison of what team's stronger. We've kind of touched on it today, but I'm gonna go a bit more into depth into it tomorrow. So yeah, guys, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel at GavGoesIn. More to come, guys. Obviously, appreciate the support if you are watching right now, and yeah, spread the love. You know, GavGoesIn. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube and on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another stream at 1 o'clock. Take it easy.